recording. All right, you guys. So this is our last day of our celebration week. And we have a special guest speaker first, and then we're going to finish it with a training that's like hands-on, what you guys need to kind of just be mindful as you go to the next level. So first, we have Danielle Amos, who, if you're not familiar with who she is, I work with her one-on-one. She's what do you actually call yourself? Success and prosperity coach?
Success and money coach.
Yeah. Okay. So she's like, I don't even know how to describe what she would be like as like an analogy, but she was my missing link. Like she was what I had gotten to a certain level in my business with freaking hard work, hustle, grit, raw determination. And she like came in right at the right time. Thank heavens to Maria, who introduced us. And I was just like, as soon as she spoke on our team call, I was like the skies opened. And I was like, this is what I need. And it was scary and it was uncomfortable and it was new. And it was like, it felt kind of like funky because it was so against my norm. And it was everything that I needed. And it's been amazing. So I started working with her in, what was it, like October-ish? Mm-hmm. So it was right before Thanksgiving and Christmas. And I was like, this is like the worst timing ever. I want to kind of unplug a little bit and like be with my family, but I know I need to do this. And this is what's going to like really help my team level up. And so I committed to it and I've been working with her ever since. And it has been so incredible, not just to see like how eye-opening and like transformational it's been for me, but as I get to teach this to my team, to see their wins and their just, it's been so cool. So I'm going to turn the rest of the time over to her. If you're not familiar with who Bob Proctor is, he is like guru of all gurus when it comes to like manifestation and just like literally thinking your way to results, like think like the power of your mind, the power of the universe, all of those things. And she's in his inner circle. So she's a Bob Proctor, I don't know, what is it called? Coach?
Yeah, coach.
She's like one of his top coaches and is just a guru in her field. So she is going to bring so much value, and I'm going to turn the rest of the time over to her and let her do her thing so you guys can get as much of her as possible.
Awesome. Thanks, Micah. So fun. I absolutely love your company. I just took a picture on Instagram because I got my pack and my leg bands, and just every time that I speak with your team, Micah, there's such great energy. So I wanted to thank you, all of you, for being here and congratulate you for being here and share away. I love watching all your shares on Instagram. This company, like I work with, there's over 15 network marketing companies now that I work with. And this company is by far has the most power on social media, the most energy. I always say to you, Mike, it's like everything blows up while I'm here with Beachbody. So I'm just so grateful to be here. I come from a network marketing background, so I totally get where you are. And that's what actually started my journey into mindset. So I was very similar to Micah, and I knew how to hustle. Who are my hustlers, like my doers out there? Yeah. So there is a way that you can actually achieve your goals with much more ease and grace. Now you have to take action for sure, but the power of the mind's incredible. So today what I'm going to do with you, I'm going to really talk about goals just briefly because just to set the scene. But then we're going to go into a topic that I love, and it's stepping into her, like stepping into the woman who has it all. She has the balance with her family. I see Renee with her son, has the balance with her family, life, her friends, her business, everything she's up to, the contributions you're making, and it all works. And it gets to be easy. How does that sound? So we're going to take you through a very specific training today for the next 25 minutes, actually. And I want to invite you to sit here and be as open-minded as possible. Allow what I have to say to really go into your subconscious mind. The the more open you are, the more change I can make right here for you today. All right. And if this resonates, Micah has a link where you can connect with me after. All right. So here we are, goals. To get us started, I want you to think about what it is that you want with this sentence in mind. In a universe where everything is possible, everything and anything. Like the truth is we have no limits, just the ones that we put in our own imagination, our own mind. So what is it that you really, really want? It might be that promotion, but then I want you to think past the promotion. Like even like what else is possible past that for you? And your mind might even stop you at this point thinking, not sure, or you might think something and then the mind goes, well, who do you think you are? Notice when that happens, but I want you to keep dreaming, keep fantasizing. And when you think about your goal, there's a few rules. I want you to be as specific as possible. And when you write down all the things you want, keep the word want out of it. So sometimes I hear, I want a new home, or I want to promote. The wanting, even that word will have will have you keep wanting it. It's like you're kind of close, almost getting it. And so let's remove the want and instead say I am and I have. So always present tense, positive words, and be very specific. So let's say you want a team of, let's choose a number, 1,000. Isn't that awesome? Or maybe make it 10,000. Keep adding zeros, or 100,000. There's a woman in network marketing, I told this to Micah, that we've been working with for a while, who's very close to hitting that 100,000 mark. How cool is that? The impact, think of the impact. So keep adding zeros, but be specific about the team. So for example, if that's a goal, what kind of woman, what kind of person, what kind of team member are you attracting? Like, what does she look like? How does she behave? So this being specific is really important, because think about this. If you're going to a restaurant and you sit down at the table and you say, I want food. The server would be like, well, what kind of food? What do you like? What do you want? It's the same sort of deal with your goal. What kind of person do you want to attract? How much money to the dollar do you want to be earning every month? Add a zero, by the way. You're probably dreaming too low. And so really be specific and dream very, 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 very big. In our work, we call it a C-type goal, meaning it's something that you don't know how to do. It's something you've never done before. It is something that is not logical. It is something that scares you even to admit it. Your mind doesn't even think it's possible. You probably don't even believe that you can get the goal maybe this year. That's okay. And if you have a goal right now that you believe in, I want you to add a zero, make it bigger. Okay. So it's something that really will cause you to grow. And you might not totally know it right now. So I'm going to invite you, when you're finished up with Micah today and over the weekend, to think about it, to dream a little bigger. Allow yourself to relax and maybe go outside and say, in a universe where everything's possible, or if I didn't think it was impossible, what do I want? What kind of people do I want around me? What kind of income do I want, and what would that allow for? The contributions I get to make, how I give back. What does that feel like? And you can even ask for guidance, ask to be shown what you love and what you want more of. What do you really, really want? And also think about, like, what if you could have it and you knew that there was no judgment around it? So sometimes when I start this exercise with a person, they think, wow, what will my parents think, or what will my neighbors think? Like, isn't wanting more make me greedy? And so come from a place like where you're fully loved and there's no judgment. You get to have it all and it be exactly how you want. What would you say you wanted then? Give it time. And once you have that dream, I want you to continue to work with it. Keep building it. And even think about 1 year and then 5 years from now. Because sometimes when we put time on it, like, even at the end of this year, your mind like, well, I could see that that's possible in 5 years, but by the end of this year, I can't see it. So allow your mind to expand with time. You can also ask, like, what is my perfect day? What time would I wake up? What clients am I helping? How are my social media posts received? Maybe it's that new business builders, new team members get attracted to you easily. Every day, new team members every day. How many? And then I want you to write it out on a card or a little piece of paper. And I want you to write, I'm so happy and grateful now that ... And whatever follows ... I want it to be I am or I have, present tense, positive words only. And I want you to think about the end result when you write. So sometimes we can order from the universe the process. So I want you to write it as if it's already here in present tense. And let's say you have debt and you want to be debt free. Think of the positive way to say that, because debt free will attract more debt to you. So the words you choose are really powerful. And in fact, I'm going to teach you how the words that you're using today get you the results you're getting today. Spirit, universe, and God are always listening to you. Always. You can't turn it off. You're always connected to source. And so this first step becomes the most important step. This statement right here. And I'd post it everywhere, like on your mobile phone, on your computer screen, post-it notes, like everywhere, this statement. And add a date to it. And every time you see this card, this statement, you're getting so connected to how it feels to already have it done. So I want you to think, once you have the statement, let's say it's, your goal is to earn $20,000, $25,000 a month, $10,000 a month, whatever your number is, you put that on the card. And I want you to see past it already, that it's happened, it's here. What does that feel like? How are you, if you are that person now and you looked at your statement from Beachbody and it says that's what you've earned, 25,000, let's say. How does it feel? What are you doing? What are you being? Who are you being? What are you saying? Start to think about that, because this becomes part of how you show up. But the interesting thing is you have to show up now as that person with that paycheck, as that person with the team of 1,000, 10,000, 100,000. You show up now. So this is very interesting, because often we think, and I hear this from people, is I'll feel wealthy once the money's in the bank. Like I'll go buy the car or invest in the program, or I'll do that when I have the money. They have it backwards. See, this is how, and this is a very important thing, and I think where a lot of people go wrong in manifestation and goal achieving is they're like, okay, I'll feel wealthy. I'll be wealthy once I see it in my bank account. I will be the leader once I have the team. But it's the opposite. You be it first. Really think about this. You be it and you feel it in your heart first. Then you act in that energy, in that beingness. And then you have the millions or the big team. Do you see how it's backwards for most people? This is part, I want you to think of this as we call it self-image, but you can think of it as like identity, your identity. And what's really interesting is that we all have been programmed with different identities depending on where you come from. Like I'm Canadian and I'm looking at Maria. Maria's American. And that in itself has two different identities. And I know I'm a woman. Wow, smart woman, smart girl, hi. So I'm a woman and my husband is a man and we have different identities just because of our gender. Even where you grew up. So I know that people from Michigan have a different identity than people from Florida or Miami. Don't they? Isn't that true? Even different companies. So you represent Beachbody, different identity than, let's say, Norwex. But think about this, because identities, they define us and they give us beliefs in ways we're not even aware of. And what I'm going to ask you today is to actually give you the power and tell you you can create your identity. You get to choose it. And we're going to have you do that today. Here's the thing also I want you to understand, success. So success is actually 95% mindset and 5% strategy. I'm going to say that again, 95% of your success is mindset and 5% strategy. And so it's the mindset that you have, the identity that you're currently holding on to, that's going to dictate whether or not you hit your goals. And in fact, all of our research shows at the Proctor Gallagher Institute that strategy matters this much. It's whether you believe in the strategy. So Micah can tell you, okay, go live and go launch this. If you believe that it won't work for you, guess what? It won't work for you. Not even a little bit. And where we spend most of our thinking time is the strategy. Where we spend most of our time in our business is the strategy, is the doing. And I'm going to encourage you to slow down today, right here, right now, because I can improve your results, multiply them by just having you understand that equation, by getting you to get into the energy of the goal achieved, you with your goal achieved. And if you take action in that energy, that spirit, that beingness, that confidence, that love, that abundance, that joy, that calmness, you take action and you do your daily power hour, your routine, whoosh, you'll start getting yeses. You'll attract new team members, new clients. It will feel like they're coming out of the woodworks like, oh my goodness, who wants that? Yeah. And it becomes easy. Now, what happens is, because of one of the identities that we have in society, just pretty much across the board, is this idea that we need to work hard to achieve success. And because success has been equated to hard work in society, very easily you'll be pulled back into the hustle, 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 hustle. And so when you feel that, I want to encourage you to come back to the energy piece and remember that equation I gave you. So let's talk more about this, okay? Often also when we think about ourselves with a goal achieved, or even our thoughts in general, most people are thinking about what they don't want. Most people think about what they don't want throughout the day. And I'll tell you what that's like. So for example, let's say you're about to have a call about the business opportunity, and you're all set up, you're excited for the call. She's great. Like, you would absolutely love her on your team. She's an absolute ace. And let's say like 10 minutes before the call, you're like, ooh, she hasn't returned to my text. Like, I don't know if she's actually going to show up. Oh, what if she's changed her mind? Like, what if she doesn't want to hear about this anymore? Anyone do that? And we start thinking about what we don't want to happen, don't we? That's really normal. But here, remember when I said Spirit's always listening? And so we're literally in that moment praying for what we don't want. Literally in the moment praying for what we don't want. And that's a really normal way of being if you're human. It's because we've been programmed that way. And it's kind of like this. I'm going to say, okay, Micah, whatever you do right now, whatever you do, don't think about the pink elephant. Like, whatever you do, don't think about the pink elephant. Like any other color but pink. Not pink, the elephant. No. What's happening? You're thinking about the pink elephant, aren't you? See, this is what happens to us. And we get like, we know, even if you're in this information, you're like, I know I'm not supposed to think about what I don't want. And maybe it could be dead. I know I'm not supposed to think about that. I know I'm not supposed to think about, but it's the same way as the pink elephant. And so we need to change that. And the good news is you can change it. You have the power. Right here today, you can decide to take that power. Often too, we can see people ask for more money or more, like, and a more abundant team or a better team. And then we can feel bad about it, which also causes a block. Like, I'd really love to have this more money come in, but then if we think, well, you know, I'm told not to be so greedy, you know, or maybe a thought can come up like, money, like, I don't need that much. Like, who are you to, like, all these other people are suffering. Why do you need more? So notice when you're asking for more, what some of those underlying beliefs and thoughts are, because they're affecting your results and they end up being like the pink elephant. So let's talk more about this identity that you're going to create today and step into her every single time you take action, every single time. And I'm going to give you some rituals to do it too. So you get to create the identity of you with your goal achieved. You get to write her and become her. And Micah mentioned that I work very closely with Bob Proctor. That is something I was lucky enough to train on stage, and Bob heard me say that. So that's my like coined phrase for working with him. And he said it was brilliant because it's how it works. We take pen to paper and we write out who we are, what it feels like to achieve this goal. And I want you to think on 3 levels, okay? And writing causes a picture. That's why it's important to write. Writing causes you to think, and we think in pictures. And if we just go to the thinking part or the visualization part, our minds can get all scatty and it's challenging sometimes to focus. So I encourage you to take pen to paper, and I want you to write, what am I thinking? And it's 3 levels. So spirit is thought. What am I thinking with this goal achieved? You know, if I've already hit the promotion, I've already hit the rank, what would I be thinking? Well, I'd be thinking, well, that was pretty cool. That was fun. That was easy. My team's amazing. I'd be thinking, I love Beachbody. I love sharing this. I'd be thinking about perhaps how I'll bless my family or my community. And I'll be thinking about how proud I am about my team members, right? How grateful I am for my clients. And get into that energy, all the thoughts you'll be thinking. It's already done. So we're not thinking about processes, are we? We're thinking about how to celebrate the team, how to acknowledge them, how grateful you are. It's already done. And then you want to ask yourself, how am I feeling? So thoughts lead to feelings. Well, I know you wouldn't be nervous because it's already done. You'd be calm. You'd be confident as heck, wouldn't you? You'd be confident. You would show up. You'd be like, when you're called out by your leaders, you'd be like, we did it. And you'd feel that pride. And this is where people get tripped up. Well, how can I feel proud when it's not official, when it's not there yet? And this is the gap. This is what you get to experience. You get to feel proud now. This is it. You've got to be it first, act in the beingness, and then it manifests. Okay, so well, how else would you feel? Write down everything that comes to mind. Grateful, abundant. You'd feel so abundant. You'd probably be buying gifts, or, what would you be doing to show that gratitude? How would it feel? Maybe you get emotional. And there'll be a part of you that will be saying I freaking knew I could do it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. And then what are the actions after it's done? Not leading up, but after. So it's thoughts, feelings, actions, and feelings lead to actions. So you exist on 3 planes: your spirit, your intellect, and your physical body. So it's thoughts, feelings, actions, and it has to be in harmony. This is your attitude. It's all got to be in harmony together with the goal achieved. And you need to be her now. And anytime that you feel outside of that beingness, you can just gently bring yourself back and remind yourself, because it is a commitment. And so one of the things that I do is, before anything like this webinar, I took a couple moments to write my intentions, who I'm being, how I feel, and how I'm acting here for you. You could do the same before a prospect meeting. You can do the same before a social media post, and write out your intention. So I intend that this post attracts 5 new clients and 2 business partners, 2 people that join my team. Maybe it's 20. What do I need to say? How do I feel when that's all happened? I feel like, what do I need to say to these people I'm attracting, and get in their energy? And then take the action in that energy, in that spirit. So who are you? The questions are, how do I feel? How do I behave? Then you can bring in, how do I dress? How do I show up? What's my posture when I've reached my goal? All of that, you get to think of it all in advance. You get to decide, and then do it now. And it is a decision. And then before we wrap here, I want you to see that you can start to think about what else you're doing in your life with the goal achieved. And I want to give you some really great examples. So for me, when I hit my goal, the person I am is I buy flowers every week for my home. I have a house cleaner every week. I actually have someone that cooks daily. I have a vacation property, and I wrote this list of all this doingness. So be, do, have, okay, with the goal achieved. And make your list, everything. And when you think your list is done, I want you to say, what else? What else could I have? What else could I be doing? What else do I want? When in a universe where everything's possible. And remember, you want to be very concrete, very specific. And then this list becomes your to-do list. What is she saying? You want me to go buy a vacation property now? It's not what I'm saying, but this is the cool thing about this list. I want you to take a highlighter with this list, and I want you to highlight or check off everything on that list that you could do now. So remember when I said I want to buy fresh flowers for my home every week? Well, in my image, they're fresh lilies, like this massive bouquet, and I have them on every level of my home. That could cost hundreds of dollars, right? But maybe I can still do that, but maybe it's one bouquet I could do now. Or instead of lilies, they're daisies, and it's $5 instead of $500. You see that? And I'm going to check that off because that's my to-do. I'm going to start doing that. And then also on my list is that I have a chef that cooks for us. Well, maybe not every night, but maybe we get someone come in once a week. You see? So it might be the quality or the instead of lilies, it's daisies that I can start taking action, or maybe it's the quantity I can start taking action on. And this is how you start being her now. This list that you wrote down is your to-do list, your new to-do list. And you take the action in the energy of the goal already achieved. Like as if I'm buying $500 in lilies, I hand over that money, the $5 bill, as if it's 500. You see that? And in my mind, I'm there. It is so powerful. Now, I want to give you another example. Vacation homes, what could you do now in that? Well, I could go on Pinterest. I could go watch videos. I could go through open houses. All of this is part, and you keep taking action on this list. So you want to act on it with the feeling, the attitude, the perception. You want to be her now. Then you have it. And what's interesting is it all comes so quickly when you're in that energy. You fuse your desire with who you're being. And that's manifesting. That's manifesting. Be, act, have. Be, act, have. Be, act like the person, then you get to have it. Feel rich, act rich, go to the spa once a week instead of never. Buy the daisies now instead of no flowers. See what you can do. Your new identity is relaxed. Your new identity is calm. And then I want you to see this as your new normal. I get to attract clients from my posts every single time. I get to bless myself with flowers every week. I get to make that donation every week. How does that feel? I've got a question there. I'll just check that, Micah. How do you stop the scarcity mindset? Yeah, this is all the work. So every time the scarcity mindset comes back in, or a limiting identity, and it comes back in, maybe it's when you're paying for those daisies and it's like, wow, they're really daisies. Nah, 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 nah. I'm like, no, thanks. What do I want to believe? I want to believe that this is one step closer to my goal achieved. I want to believe that what Danielle's saying is true. And listen, I have so much evidence of this. I want you to borrow the belief and act in it and notice for yourself what happens and start gathering your own evidence. And it's once you do that, that you're like, this really does work. Oh my goodness, look, I stepped into her and I wrote down the intention for the outcome of the call, and she said yes. I just had a woman share on our morning call this morning. She's in a different network marketing company, but she wrote down, so she did what I said. She wrote down her intention for the call. And this woman was a hard no when she got on the business chat just to see if she wanted to join the business. She was doing her niece a favor. And ever had one of those where they're like, yeah, okay, I'll do it for you. She got on the call, it was a 3-way call, and she could tell right away, her name's Wendy, she could tell right away that the woman was like, and Wendy did her work, her mindset work before, and by the end, the woman was not only in, she was like a full-on 10 and had already made a list of 5 people she wanted to join her business. From going to like, I'll do you a favor to listen, she wrote out the intention that she was going to connect with this woman and that the woman was going to see the value in her opportunity. She wrote out what she wanted. So the scarcity does come up. Wendy shared that, she was worried that this woman was going to cancel. She's a nurse. But what she found was every time that it came up, she was able to just go, not interested. What do I want to believe? I want to believe that she's joining the team. I want to believe it's easy. And that's what happened. So the scarcity mindset, it is common. And you're going to need to get over that in the beginning. And you can, because so many of us have. Any other questions? Amy says, I never thought of it from that perspective. Yes, be active. You got it. You get that, Amy? Everything changes. Everything changes. Erin started adding a 0 to her bills, and imagine paying it off. That is so good. So what you can do is do that also for your bank account. So maybe instead, do it for good bills, Erin, for let's say going out for dinner. And so instead of it being $100, you're treating your family to $1,000 dinner. I wouldn't do it to your phone bill and stuff like that, because that's boring. But do it to things, or maybe it's you go to buy the sweater or the outfit and it's $100 and it's really $1,000, and you see yourself paying that with ease, right? Yeah, perfect. You're right on the money. Cool. Anyone else? Was this helpful? I want to say I'm just so proud of this team and all of you. For you earned your spot here. You're here for a reason, hearing this message. If you can have the success you're experiencing with where you're at, with the, the tools you currently have, you add this mindset piece to what you're doing. The truth is you have unlimited potential. As soon as you lock into that idea and you start showing up that you couldn't fail, every person you speak to is going to say yes, every single person you meet on the street or on Instagram is your next ace, and you show up with that energy, done and done. If this resonates and you like more, one of the first things I said is the most important piece is getting you connected to your goal, and that scarcity mindset, or you might have other paradigms holding you back. There's something that I do called a strategy call. Some of you have had it with me. I know that's how Mike and I got first connected. It's free. Myself and I have a team that do them, and we're all trained by Bob. I put a link in there. You can book it. You'll notice my schedule doesn't have as many. So if you want to speak with me, you've got to act fast. But my team is awesome as well, and they'll get you connected to the goal. And what some people, you know, we give you an article that you can read, some resources, some affirmations, and other people will tell you about a program. It all just depends on where you're at and what you want. So go book that.
Danielle, really quick, can you just chat for 2 seconds about, you always talk about the evidence of absence is not the essence of evidence. Talk about that really quick, because I think that's what holds most of my girls back when I'm talking about them, like things aren't happening, results aren't happening, no yeses are happening. How can they believe when nothing is happening? So talk about that for just a sec.
For sure. Yeah, that is huge. So often in our way of living, we look at what is happening, like our points right now, the sales right now, and we allow the current situation to dictate how we think and feel. Does everyone agree? So if it looks like there's a long way to go, we're like, oh, like it's not going to happen, right? That what I know to be true is that just because it's not showing up in your sales this moment, it still is in your energy. Now this is, remember when I said the pink elephant? So this is where you've got to be mindful of the pink elephant, because if we keep looking at what currently is on our sales sheet or in the tracker, that, and allowing that to dictate how we feel, we're going to keep getting more of those same results, and we're literally holding the manifestation away from us. And so where you want to go is to not let that affect you and go back to what do I want and how that would feel. And it's the trickiest thinking out there. It's a great author said, this is the hardest work anyone has to do, is thinking about what you want when there's no evidence of it. And so the quote is, absence of evidence. Absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. Meaning can come so fast once you get into the energy of it. And this is where people make the mistake, is that they will feel like it's done when they see it in their bank account or they'll see it in their sales, but you have to feel it that it's done before. And this is something that you're going to need to practice and keep coming back to and seeing the numbers. And so what I would do is I would take a screenshot of your trackers that you have and put the number that you want to see there. And your memory can know where you are, but then keep taking action as if it's done. And this thinking, and really it's about, you're going to need to practice it, because just like the pink elephant idea, it's strong to think, well, it's not there yet, it's not there yet, it's not there yet. But the more you say it's not there yet, the universe is always listening, spirit's always listening. So it has to give you not there yet, more not there yet. Oh, she doesn't want it yet. Well, clearly she doesn't want it yet. And it just keeps pouring, not there yet, not there yet. People will cancel on you. They'll say, oh, I'll join you next week. Oh, I was about to do that, but I got busy. That's what you'll attract. And it has to be that way, because the laws are exact and they always give you what you're saying and thinking, always. And so instead what you can say is, I'm so grateful it's done, or I know that there's so many people that want Beachbody. I just get to meet them this week and have them say yes. Or I could say, there are so many people that are here and ready to join my team. It's my job just to connect with them and just to see them and talk to them. I also would say things like, sales come so easily to me, I hardly have time to follow up with all of those requests on my Instagram. It's crazy how many people come. And the more you say that, so in the moment, your mind will go, okay, Danielle, like really, I can tell, like you're lying. But here's the thing, you tell yourself a lie often enough and you'll start to believe it. That's the truth. And you know how I'm going to give you evidence of that. I'm going to give you a story. So when Micah was born, did you know this? Her mom, she kept calling her Micah over and over and over. She would say, hey, Micah, come here. But what would have happened if she only said, Micah, your name's Micah. I'm going to tell you once, little girl, and I want you to remember it forever. And then start calling her Bob. What do you think would happen? She'd respond to Bob, wouldn't she? Even though her name's Micah. See, her mom programmed her name into her. Her parents did that. Your parents did that. You didn't choose your name. Same thing with if you start saying to yourself, sales come so easy, new business partners, they're everywhere. Guess what will happen? They're everywhere. You always get what you say and what you think by law. You get what you believe. And over with enough repetition of keep saying it to yourself and having the discipline of focusing on what you want and not what currently is, your mind will start to believe it and you'll have that name. Just like I said with the whole Micah name example. That's what happens. That's how it works. So it goes back to that simple question, what is it that you want? Really want? How do you want to feel? How will you feel? How are you feeling with the goal done? Who are you being? See, someone that is already promoted with that team that's so fast growing and it's easy, she's not saying, well, where are the sales? Is she? She's like in gratitude for the sales. She's at ease because she knows that they come. So this is part of the growth that you get to experience by going after the goal. And that's the whole purpose of a goal, is to grow spiritually, to grow as who you are. And it's a beautiful thing.
I love it, Danielle. I love it. I love you. I love this work. I love all of the things. It is truly life transformational, like seriously. So I talked about this on the call that we had Saturday, that I was reading the book, The Science of Getting Rich. Mm-hmm. And I will be the first to say that I used to be so weird about Think and Grow Rich, Science of Getting, like, that wasn't, I was like, well, that's not my goals to get rich. But what I didn't understand was like, rich, that's abundance, that's joy, that's plenty, that's the purpose of life, is to have more of the things you love and the things that bring you joy and the things that bring you just life. And so the more I studied it, just the more I understood that. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, clearly I have some strong paradigms around that stuff. And it's just such a growth process about like learning why we have certain things ingrained in us and then how to work through those and how to literally rewire those thoughts, because that's driving everything. So I love it. I'm so grateful for you for taking time to be with us. You guys highly, highly, highly recommend doing one of those free strategy calls. That was so eye-opening to me. Like, I was just kind of coasting. I was just kind of at a place where I was like, well, I'm happy. Like, I don't know. And they were just kind of pushing like, well, what do you want? What do you desire? And I'm like, I don't know. I feel bad for wanting. Like, it was so good for me. So go sign up for one of those. If anything else, it'll help you just really gain some clarity around where you're at, where you can kind of level up, and it will be worth it. I promise. So we'll wrap it up. Danielle, thank you again so much. Love you to death. I'm going to get off of this and then get right back on, because I want to be able to have this recording and then we can record the next one separately. And I have to go tinkle really fast. So we have like a 2-minute potty break, and then we'll jump back on for more of like it's not going to be nearly as awesome, like heartfelt. It's going to be more like business CEO stuff. So come back in 2 minutes, and we'll see you in a sec. Okay.